Good morning, everybody. It's your girl, Miracle Sims, and you're listening to God, Sex, and Love. Your daily dose of inspiration, the juice. It is August the 19th, 2023, and today the topic is sharing is caring. Happy Saturday, y'all. Happy Saturday. I hope that you all had a fabulous Friday. Mine was just fine. Thank you to those of you all that tuned in to the GSL talk show last night. Y'all know that we had Miss DJ Robinson talking about her app and her journey and things of that nature. Even her podcast, Playing for Keeps. Listen, man, if I was still out here on the market, you know what I mean? I think I definitely would be checking out her app. So I hope that you all do so as well. Y'all know I have a heart for my single peoples. So anything that's gonna, encourage and inspire your walk, and to do things in a way that's decent and in order, I'm always gonna try to co-sign and let y'all know about. Y'all know we got things cooking around here for GSL for y'all as well. But until things like that, get established, I'm grateful that there are people out here creating resources to assist with this whole dating and singleness journey, and everything like that. There's a lot of things out here now that just was not available back during my cultivation period. All right. So if y'all didn't see that episode, y'all can go to godsexandlove.com. It should be our featured video. Learn more about Miss DJ Robinson and her amazing app, y'all, Playing for Keeps. Now, this conversation this morning, sharing is caring. Well, to be honest, y'all know I'm recording a little bit late today. Those that may watch this live, it's like after 7. When I woke up this morning, I think I woke up around 5 or something like that. So I must have missed my alarms. The Lord woke me up around like 5. And when I did get up, I kind of was, perusing, checking up on stuff I missed, X, Y, and Z. But then at some point, it's like I got on Instagram, and the more I scrolled, the more I saw good content. And so usually when I see something that's encouraging or inspiring or whatever, I would just automatically share it to either GSL or my personal page, or maybe to my women's group. Like, depending on what the content is, I'll share it on whatever platform it goes with. So I was seeing a lot of content that was GSL related, So if anybody was following our page this morning, or maybe y'all got a lot of notifications from the GSL page showing that this just got posted, just got shared, this just got posted. And the interesting thing is I probably still would be doing it because I was trying to wait and see, like, is this going to stop? But no, it seemed like I would scroll, see something good, scroll, see something good, scroll, see something good. And it just kept going where I was like, all right, I need to stop and finally listen to the prayer meditation for today, And so that's what I eventually ended up doing. Unfortunately, I don't really remember the prayer meditation. I guess I must have been distracted. But after that, I'm kind of doing the same thing. I was also getting some downloads for some ideas and things like that. Y'all know that, with me being, the elementary coordinator at the church and whatnot. And they know that I guess, about my skills of theater and things of that nature. They asked me to portray my character at an upcoming event, not this Sunday, but next Sunday. And so some ideas about like what I want to do with that kind of was coming to my heart and mind this morning, just alongside of a lot of things, right? But at some point I was like, I need to settle my heart and mind and see what the Lord want me to talk about today. And soon as I did that, y'all, this concept sharing is caring came into my heart and mind, and it resonated, I guess, for a lot of reasons. I mean, partially maybe because of the journey I went through with sharing the post. Also, I do feel led to share with you guys a little bit more information, so I'll share that in a second. I'm trying to think, is there anything else outside of that that leads to this conversation? I think I might have saw a post recently that was talking about, you don't want to be in God's presence and he shows you all the people that you were supposed to affect by your testimony or sharing the gospel, whatever the case is. and you try to give him the excuse that, where you was, ashamed or embarrassed or didn't want to ruffle any feathers or whatever the case is, like whatever excuses that we use to not share the gospel or share our testimonies, right? And so and I feel a little bit convicted by this concept because, I've been completely honest with y'all that that's something I struggle with. And the main thing that I still, I guess, find to be an issue with me sharing, you know, at all times is that, again, that God gives us free will. At the end of the day, I'm like, Lord, again, people, it seems like people have made their decisions regarding you. And it was interesting because I didn't get a chance to tell y'all yesterday, but the day before yesterday, I ended up listening to a few of the first few episodes of GSL, of the Juice, and I was listening to myself tell you all like 3 years ago that same thing, like the fact that I was struggling with sharing. And I feel like I've gotten a little bit better now by doing this, right? But there's still something in me that's struggling with sharing to friends, right? Struggling with sharing to family or people that, for example, you may see them struggling or you may see them, going back and forth when it comes to faith and things of that nature, maybe not living according to, what the word says. And I struggle, right, with sharing with people because, well, one, I know that, just because I can see something and want something for someone doesn't mean that they're ready, right? And then at the same time, sometimes it takes a while. I've been completely honest about my journey as well, that, it took me a while to get here. It took me a while to get to this place of being content. It took me a while to get to this place of trusting God fully. It took me a while to get to this place of, all the different things that are going on in my life right now. And so knowing all of this, I'm like, well, Lord, obviously every now and then I might see windows of opportunity. I've had some conversations here and there, but I don't know, for whatever reason, there's still a slight struggle with, I guess, approaching people with the controversial topics, you know what I mean? Those hot button things that people take issue with when it comes to the Bible. Obviously, one of those huge things is LGBT, even promiscuity or uh, infidelity or maybe just being outside of the will of God in any way, right? And then because at the end of the day, it's like, well, who am I, right, to tell somebody else? Because at the end of the day, I've sinned and fallen short as well. I'm not perfect and everything like that. And so those type of thoughts and ideas, I feel like they silence us, right? We don't want to be counseled. We don't want to be make people feel like they're not loved. We don't want to, offend nobody and all that type of stuff. And I get it. You know what I mean? I'm sitting here telling y'all now that I'm still struggling as well with exactly how to do God's will and share the Great Commission and share the gospel and all those things. But on the flip side, I believe what I'm receiving overall is it's more important for us to do the will of God, share the truth in love, than to enable someone to continue in sin in any capacity, right? And not just talking about the hot button stuff, but it could be, again, just allowing people. And here's the thing, I'm not saying allowing, because I was thinking about allowing when it comes to like my child, like that's a great example. I think that most people understand, like our kids, they want to do whatever they want to do, right? And they might not fully understand why they need to do whatever we're telling them to do. I think eating is one of those big things. My son will wake up in the morning talking about eating chips, ice cream, and all of that type of stuff. Now, if I was to allow him to do that, right, every day of his life, every time he asks for it, everything like that, would I be a good parent? Would I really love him? Would I really care about him and his well-being if that's what I allowed him to do? Now, granted, I'm not everybody's parent, you know what I mean? And so and I think I talked to you all about this in the past as well, like you got to have that type of rapport or relationship or whatever the case is to address certain things, right? I guess when it comes to personal relationships with people and things of that nature, which is, I guess, again, why we need to be fellowshipping and things of that nature, not like secluding ourselves and staying alone and then allowing again sin to run rapid on earth by doing that. So I mean, I think all of the things play a part in this, but today the focus is on the idea of sharing and understanding that it is caring to share. Again, share the gospel, share what God has done for us, share, yes, our testimony, the Great Commission, everything of that nature. When it comes to the things of Christ, it's important for us to share. Um, I think people again they struggle with this, right? Because then I've seen plenty of those conversations. Again, I shout out to like Pastor David Lynn, people that are on the front lines out there. Maybe they're on the bullhorn sharing in public, things of that nature, and people are like, "Why are you out here?" and things like that. And I think the Bible is clear. It's a clear reason why we're out there. I mean, I think anybody would probably want to just lounge and keep things to themselves. But when the Bible is telling us to share our testimony and to share the gospel and things of that nature, that's why you see what you see. That's why you see the billboards. That's why you see people sharing in these variety of ways. So on one hand, I'm like, I mean, obviously, it seems to me that if anyone's confused about that, then they are probably not reading the Bible or understanding it or things of that nature. So that's one thing. That's we are commanded to share. That's the simple answer. But why you see, me getting up and doing the juice and any other Christian sharing in any capacity, we are commanded to share. Y'all can go deeper about that. I put in a go deeper section about the Great Commission. But let me just share it right now, just in case you guys want to go and look it up. Matthew 28:16-20. Check that out. And that should hopefully help you understand why you see Christians sharing in any regard. But I mean, for those of us that are struggling with sharing and this personal idea again of sharing with the people in our lives and things of that nature, then I hope that these verses that I came across this morning will encourage you and inspire you to get on it, friends. Because at the end of the day, if you truly love someone, then you will give them the truth in love. I guess I feel led to share this, right? Another thing that I observed over the past few days, and then I'll get into the verses. So, I came across this video. I think it might have been yesterday, and it was they said an ex-trans individual, and the person was just, you could see the emotion in their eyes, you could hear it in their voice. And I believe again that I shared it on our page, so you guys can just scroll on God, Sex, and Love and check it out and see. But I'm pretty sure there's plenty of people that you can just Google and see this testimony or whatever. But basically, the individual was saying that, or just basically pleading to parents to say that it's not good for you to enable these thoughts and whatnot. Like, it's better for you to man, I can't even say everything that I mean, and I can't not say I can't say it. It's just I don't want to get it wrong. So I'd rather y'all just go and listen to the testimonies from, like they say, the horse's mouth or whatever the case is, like directly from that individual. Because again, like hearing the pleading in their voice and seeing it in their eyes and knowing that at the end of the day, that all they needed was someone to guide them in the right direction when they were that vulnerable or early age or whatever the case was. It's just something that just can't be faked, or like I can't even probably reiterate it the way it needs to be reiterated. But this is the same when it comes to just, again, any sin, y'all. Like, people may need to just hear that testimony. Like I shared with you guys, I want to say last weekend around this time, I told you all that I give Christian advice, and I had someone hit me up for advice. Again, I won't get too deep into it, and I'm definitely won't share the person's name or anything like that, and I don't know the individual personally that I know of. Basically, this person reached out and they asked me for feedback about some thoughts that they were having and some things that they were tempted with and things of that nature. And obviously I sought the Lord and was and sent them the best biblical advice that I could, and encouragement and things of that nature. And the individual said in their review that that's what they needed to hear. You see what I'm saying? Like, so at the end of the day, this is how powerful our testimony is and can be. Like, sometimes people just need to hear it reiterated, or hear the testimony, or hear uh the right things, right? Versus just, again, or the truth in love, right? Rather than anything else. And so I think this is why the enemy tries to silence us and to keep us holding things in and not sharing, because this is a powerful, life-changing thing. Let's just say the individual, let's say I ignored the individual, or let's just say the individual never even sought out biblical advice or things like that, and they just went on and did what they were considering to do. Like, it definitely would have been a life-changing situation, like, for the individual, the family, just everybody involved, you know what I mean? And so it's just one of those things where you may have or know something, right, that the other person needs to hear, and you're holding it to yourself when you need to be sharing. So let's get into these verses, y'all. Daniel 4:2. It says, "It has seemed good to me to show the signs and wonders that the Most High God has done for me." This is good, y'all. This is a good thing to do. At the end of the day, it's a beautiful thing when God does something for you and you're like, man, this is great. He did it for me, X, Y, and Z. But when you share that thing, it just goes again beyond, and it just blesses the next person. Matter of fact, here's another example of that. I was listening to I think it was like a Q&A session that Frank Turek was doing sometime this week. And basically he was sharing what had happened at a event that he was at. And then he said that one of the someone else in the audience raised their hands and shared their testimony. And not only did obviously the person or all the people there hear the testimony, right? But Frank Turek was moved by it so much that he shared the testimony in his book. So now anybody that's reading the book has now heard the testimony. And then he was sharing it obviously somewhere else. So now that anybody watches the video, like me, and is now sharing the testimony. And even though I didn't necessarily share what the testimony was, I'm sitting here today sharing that Frank Turek shared a testimony of an individual that shared a testimony at a convention that he did however many years ago, that he also wanted. It's just, this is how it goes and flows, y'all. At the end of the day, if you keep it to yourself, then again, it's good for you, right? But it's more powerful to share, again, what God has done, the signs and wonders and things of that nature. Because again, it can be encouraging, inspiring to the next person, and you never know how that thing will influence them in their life. First Chronicles 16:8, it says, "Oh, give thanks to the Lord, call upon his name, make known his deeds among the people." Or it says the peoples. But I think what stand out to me the most in this verse is the part that says, "Make known his deeds among the peoples." At the end of the day, again, I'm just being encouraged and inspired that we need to make it known. Whatever our concerns or fears or whatever the case may be when it comes to sharing, again, the gospel, your testimony, whatever the Lord is leading you to share, that post that you saw that was encouraging and inspiring to you, you never know. Like, a lot of times when I share different posts and whatnot, every now and then I'll get a message from someone that says, "I needed to hear that. Thank you for sharing that." And that's the thing. Like, at the end of the day, like, you never know, y'all. You never know, like, what someone needs to hear or see. And again, I'm just reiterating this whole thing about the power of sharing, y'all. The enemy is trying to block us from doing it, trying to talk about being counseled, trying to talk about, even to the point of death, y'all. And, about even sharing any aspect of biblical wisdom and love and truth. But at the end of the day, I think most of us that are believers, we know how transformative the word of God is. And we can see how we needed it, right? And so it's important to understand that everybody needs it. And and yeah, like just do your part, whatever the Lord is leading you to do. It might not be being on the bullhorn. It might just be, again, sharing the social media post or texting someone, hey, how you doing? And if they share with you whatever their issue is, then, obviously listen and things of that nature. But if you can relate to it, it might be behoove you to go ahead and just share your testimony. Well, I've been through that, friend, and guess what? This is what the Lord has done for me. And so the people can be encouraged and inspired, again, by the power of our testimony. Let me keep going. We got Mark 5:19. It says, and he did not permit him, but said to him, go home to your friends and tell them how much the Lord has done for you and how he has had mercy on you. I was wanting to go deeper about that just to confirm that this was the section that I think it is, and I didn't do that. So y'all can go and confirm and go read Mark, 5:19 and read the verses around it for yourself to make sure that I'm saying this right. But I believe that this is the account of uh perhaps I think it was like one of the men that he healed, or one of the men maybe he removed demons from, or something like that, and the individual wanted to come with him, or maybe like be a disciple or follow him and things like that. And he said, basically he sent him home, as he said in this verse that I just read. Sometimes, again, it's important for us to, not saying it's not important for us to follow God or whatever, but what I'm saying is, you know, according to this situation, it seemed to me, what I'm receiving here is that it was more important for him to go back home and share the testimony than to follow Christ, and in regards to just following him around and things of that nature. So again, like, this just another thing that reiterates the power of our testimony, and what we're commissioned to do. We got Psalms 107:2. It says, let the redeemed of the Lord say so, whom he has redeemed from trouble. Friends, again, if God has done anything for you, say it, share it, let people know. Because at the end of the day, I know people look at some things as bragging and stuff. And I mean, obviously, use your discernment and things of that nature. Seek the Lord about how to do it, everything like that. But every now and then, again, it's just important for us to share. So again, if you've been redeemed by the Lord, then say so. I know that song might be in your head, like it's in my head right now, and I know I enjoyed that as well. But it's just very important, y'all, to share our testimonies, and again, to share the gospel more so than anything. Because again, people are thinking or believing that, for example, miracles and things aren't for today. Oh, that's just something that happened in the Bible, or if it happened at all, or whatever the case is, right? That's the mindset of the majority, at least what you see and hear. But if we're out here sharing our testimonies, at the end of the day, that's something that nobody can take away, because you know what God has done for you. I can sit here and share all day my testimony, and I can sit here and tell y'all about the times I was crying in my apartment and I was alone and yelling up at God and all of that. And I can tell y'all that I'm in a totally different place today, and nobody can take that testimony away from me at the end of the day. Like, I know I was there and I went through it. And I think, again, this is why we go through certain things, because again, we know that testimonies are powerful. I mean, they still hold up in court and all of that. And yeah, people can lie and embellish and all that type of stuff too. And you can use your discernment and take things with a grain of salt, X, Y, and Z. But I believe that you can truly know when someone's being honest about, their testimony or whatever the Lord has done for them. So just keeping our heart and mind, again, if you have been redeemed, or if God has done anything for you, say it, friends. 2 Timothy, I forgot to write it down. It's in the show notes though. I think it was like, I can't remember the verse right now, but it is written in the show notes. Do not be ashamed of the testimony about our Lord, nor of we his prisoners, but share in suffering for the gospel, for the power of God. My apologies, y'all. Bless me, but yeah, y'all can again go see what that verse is, that exact numbers is. But yeah, let's not be ashamed, right? Let's not be ashamed of what our testimony is or what God has done for us and things of that nature. It reminds me of one of my guests that I had the other day. And before we started recording, the individual was sharing with me like, we kind of talked about the concept of GSL. And then the individual was sharing that they kind of struggle with the idea of sharing their testimony, X, Y, and Z. Oh, it was kind of embarrassing, X, Y, and Z. And it's like, nah, man, at the end of the day, whatever it is, give the glory and the honor to the Lord. At the end of the day, again, if you've been redeemed, say so. Like, don't be embarrassed of the testimony, because at the end of the day, we all have sinned and fallen short. So none of us can look down on nobody at the end of the day. So whatever your thing that you went through and struggled with, yeah, it might be embarrassing, but guess what? If you're on the other side, that's an even huger testimony for you. So just think about that, y'all. Just think about again what God has done for you, where He's brought you from, and don't get discouraged and ashamed of what God is doing. Let me see. I think I got one more verse, y'all. Matthew 10:32. So everyone who acknowledges me before men, I also will acknowledge before my Father who is in heaven. Listen, you do not want to get there on Judgment Day and be like, and I'm not laughing and sorry, I mean not mean to laugh, it's very serious. You don't want to get in front of God on Judgment Day and He say, I never knew you. Like yeah, I mean, and I know I talked about this the other day. I've seen this recently where they talk about the whole idea or concept of those that believe that they're in Christ, and then we did all of this in your name, and He still is like, I never knew you, based on the way, like, whatever I guess was in their heart or how they live, whatever the case is. That's a whole nother conversation, but let's just talk about the acknowledgement before men part, y'all. Like, we can't be discouraged to or embarrassed or let anything shake us from sharing what, again, our testimony and the gospel. At the end of the day, if we hold back and not acknowledge God, He's saying that He's not going to, acknowledge Christ, then He's not going to acknowledge us before, His Father. And so, it's just something to think about, something to just keep into your heart and minds, y'all, when it comes to this. I mean, again, I hope that this helps us all understand that sharing is caring. And I mean, this is ultimately the juice, y'all. This is the juice this morning. My mom says, good morning, sister. Okay, you own it today. Well, to God be the glory. I'm glad that, it's resonating and everything like that. I mean, there's plenty more verses in the Go Deeper section to let marinate on your heart, souls, and minds. But like I said, y'all, that's the juice. Now, the Bible verse of today is Romans 8:6. It says, for to be carnally minded is death, but to be spiritually minded is life and peace, friends. I hope you all enjoyed this juice this morning. Thank you so much for listening to God, Sex, and Love, your daily dose of inspiration, the juice. I pray you guys can go forth and have a wonderful day, and I look forward to talking to you all on Monday, if the Lord's will. Bye-bye. There you go. Facebook, YouTube, Rumble, anybody listening to the sound of my voice, I hope that you all are encouraged and inspired. Thank you so much for listening, watching, subscribing, and sharing all those wonderful things. Shout out to my mama tuning in this morning, y'all. Listen, look, my inspiration. Look, speaking of inspiration, y'all, go check out the Inspirational Outreach. They are doing amazing things. Okie dokie. And yeah, man, I hope y'all have a wonderful weekend. I'm supposed to go and do childcare at the church. And then after that, I should be coming on back home, and we're going to see what the Lord do. I know my husband asked me last night, you want to take a walk tomorrow? So I guess we might take a walk when I get back home. Hopefully it won't be too hot. But yeah, that's what's generally on my schedule or plan for today. I want to do an unboxing as well. So I'm probably about to go and get in my group, Unwind, Self-Care, and Sip Spa, which is my ladies group on Facebook. And I got some jewelry from my friend Miss Alethea with over there at Alethea's Classy and Sassy Bling. She decided to bless me with some jewelry. So I'm gonna do an unboxing. So that's probably what I'm going to get ready to do after I share this. But yeah, y'all, that is all that's going on in my world. I'll let y'all know on Monday, if the Lord's will, what all happened with my weekend. But y'all have a wonderful, wonderful weekend, y'all. Listen, there's this weekend, and then the next weekend is the weekend. Next weekend, I'm also going to go play putt-putt. So like I said, if y'all want to go play putt-putt with me, let me know. I'll send y'all the invitation and information. Y'all can meet me there or whatever the case is. Obviously, if you're in the Atlanta area or whatever. But yeah, man, that's what's going on. That's what's going on in my world, y'all. And yeah, I look forward to talking to y'all on Monday, if the Lord's will. Bye. Love you, mama.